Awesome, awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining what is yet another episode of the Crypto and Cola Show here in the official Hive Discord server. It's good to have your company. We're going to be talking a lot of crypto and Hive related matters. So I think without any further ado, in fact, before I do go straight into it, I am going to just out of pure courtesy check with my co-host, Solo Miner, see how he's doing. Solo, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, piece of money. How are you today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you for asking. It's nice of you to ask. Looking forward to the show. Got lots to cover. Especially looking forward to your segment. How are you doing? How's your week been?
I'm doing good. The grass is starting to grow outside, so I was doing a little weed whacking earlier. And after the show, I'll have to get off right away, and I got some more work to do to get ready for some berry bushes that are going in the ground. So a lot of prep work this week for the upcoming garden.
Okay, well that keeps you busy, doesn't it? Let's be honest. Amongst other things, are you still using that electric bike of yours, motorbike? I'm tempted to say, but it's not. It's an electric bike of yours to nip round the land you've got.
Yeah, once in a while, I want to get my thrills off, and I just jump on that thing. And when I get back, I have a big old smirk on my face as I had a lot of fun. So I save it
Save
for
it
my
for my
enrichment
enrichment.
and go out there and have a lot of fun with it.
I would have an even bigger smirk because I'm so jealous of that bike. I really do want one. But anyway, got a question for you. What sort of berries, what varieties are you growing? Aloha wants to know. And Snook.
It's going to be four different kinds. So we have some thornless blackberries that I'm going to be growing. I have some boysenberries, some raspberries, and elderberries.
So there you go. That's quite a range. Looking forward to seeing some photos of them once they've been harvested. Um, awesome. Right. Okay. Let's crack on. Let's see what Bitcoin has been doing in the past week. Because it's looking a little bit better than last week. I'll just put the weekly trading chart into the chat. Okay, so there she is. She's up 1.45%. Not a huge amount, but nice to see it in the green there, up just over, well, 1,233 there. Mostly trading sideways, but we have seen a little bounce in the past couple of days, which is good to see. Don't think that signifies too much at this stage of the game because it has now pulled back a bit, which is just it's the way it's going. However, the great news is we haven't dipped below 80,000, so we're seeing a little bit of strength here from Bitcoin. It's good to see it bouncing like this, and I think it's triggering the alts as well in the right direction. Solo, what are your thoughts on Bitcoin? What it's been up to?
I think we've been seeing some lower volume. I think things have kind of settled down from the initial big pump we saw. And I don't know if you know, but Michael Saylor, he bought more Bitcoin, bought a lot of Bitcoin. And
Stop
I
right
heard,
there. Stop right there. Stop right there. You're basically stealing my thunder. I'm just about to move on to him.
oh no, well, we're on the same mindset then. So yeah, I think it was a Saylor pump. That's all I have to say.
But you're absolutely right. That definitely, I think has played a part in all of this. I think it's certainly made its contribution. Basically, I'm just going to try and contextualize what I think has been going on with Bitcoin. Institutions, I think, are playing it both ways. I'm talking about the institutional interest that we're seeing and the institutional growth, I should say, that we're seeing in the crypto sphere. Okay, so they're playing it both ways because when you look at Bitcoin ETFs, the outflows from February hit around $2.61 billion. Okay. Now that kind of signals to me some reluctance there, I would say. But, and this is a big but, MicroStrategy is literally on a buying spree. Okay. And I'm going to put a very interesting chart into the chat in a moment, but they are on a buying spree, clearly pointing to long-term confidence, I would say. Wouldn't you, Solo?
Yes, definitely. They're the biggest holder of Bitcoin in the world. They hold more than China and America.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me at all. But just take a look. Just take a look at this chart, just to give it some context here. Getting a bit geeky now, but hey, we are all here to talk about crypto. So here it is. So this is the MicroStrategy portfolio tracker. Yes, I do track it. This is Michael Saylor's buying spree. As you can see, just look at what he's been doing through 2024, and look, very interestingly, what he's done at the start of this year. The buying just doesn't let up. It continues and continues. Look at that spike. I mean, he is literally going balls deep into Bitcoin, and that tells me quite a bit. So, what are your thoughts on that chart?
That definitely correlates. He makes some really big buys, and I have a feeling he times it when there's low volume. So when he does buy, you usually see pretty big spikes.
Absolutely, and I think we've seen it once again. But I'm afraid, and I hate to keep coming back to this point, so because you and I diverge on this particular issue. Um, it kind of slightly bothers me when one person, whether it's Elon Musk or whether it's Michael Saylor, starts buying up or starts doing something, and it has that, that one person can have this impact on trading volume or price. It should cause us a little bit of concern, shouldn't it?
I just think this is the calm before the storm. I just dropped a chart in the chat right now where you can see Bitcoin's price along with its volume at that time, and you can see we're pretty low right now, pretty low on the volume. Of course, you compare it to maybe just a couple years ago or like 10 or 100x. I mean, don't get me wrong, long term, but in the short term, we're definitely having like a lull in the market. And I think, like you said, these big moves with Sailor, it's definitely affecting the price.
Okay, so in terms of trading volume, where we are at the moment, do you think that's cause for concern? Is it stability? Is it showing stability? Is are things looking rosy out there? What's going on?
I would say it's positive. A lot of times when you see too much of a run up, and there's no letting off, like every week the price starts to go up, 5x or 10x, and it doesn't pull back, that's a sign for concern. But when I see like a long pullback like this makes me feel like there's another leg for a run up possibly. So I like this personally. I'd rather see this than just see a constant, run up in the price with no cool off at all.
Good. Okay, so just dig a little bit deeper now. I follow somebody called Dirt Investopedia, who seems, and this is on CoinMarketCap, and okay, that's good, Menno. Good, because we'd like to see you. Anyway, I'll leave that there for now. Right, I'm going to put in this little post he put up on CoinMarketCap, and believe me, this is just too deep for me, but hopefully Solo can help us. So this is him basically stating, as you can see, Bitcoin has broken out of a descending triangle, signaling a potential bullish move. Strong buying pressure supports the breakout, and staying above the resistance trend line could drive further gains. The drop below it, however, may indicate a false breakout leading to a retest of support. So which way do you think we're going at the moment, Solo?
I think we're going to be going up on the upside. I think we've tested the resistance, or sorry, the support of Bitcoin a few times already, right down to about 80K. And it seems to every time it hits that, it bounces back within just a few hours. So I think we're on the way up, hopefully.
That's interesting. That's interesting because even though short term, I think we are potentially on the way up. I do think, I hate to say it, we are going to pull back. Hello, Menno. Good to see you, dude. I do think we are going to pull back below 80 at some stage. And I say that purely based on trends and observations. Let's be honest, Bitcoin has been struggling to get back to anywhere relatively close to 90, except the anomaly this week, and it did jump up a little bit, but it's back down again now. Seems to be too close to the 80 than the 90 for my liking. I do think at some stage, just as Edicted has talked about in previous shows, I do think we are going to see it drop back below 80 at some stage before we eventually get a bull run. But are you confident that that may not happen?
I'm definitely thinking it could pull back again to the 80 or 75 range. I mean, compared to where we were just a couple years ago in the 20K range, these pullbacks aren't really bothering me that much. Like, if anything, it's lining us up for a better bull run, in my opinion.
Okay, that's good. That's good because sometimes, and even though I've been in the space for a while now, I must admit, sometimes when you get these pullbacks and Bitcoin isn't going vertical, it's just sort of hovering and trading sideways with the occasional dip and then the occasional peak. It does in the end start to unnerve you a bit. Do you know what I mean? You get the jitters a little bit. Well, at least I do, and I think others do. Maybe you don't. You're probably hardened to this by now, I would imagine.
Yeah, luckily where I bought in, we would have to go down many multitudes again. So I'm not really worried about my loss of investment at this point. I'm basically letting it all ride. So I'm in a really good place personally. I know a lot of people are not. They probably are in the red or close to in the red. But for me personally, I bought at a really good point. So it would have to drop substantially before I get worried.
So on that note, are you still buying up or not?
No, for the moment I've stopped, but I was dollar cost averaging and a few years ago, and I got some nice coins at a nice price.
Awesome, awesome. Can I ask, were you buying up when like Bitcoin? Because I got into Bitcoin when it was around $1,200 a piece, and my mind was blown by that figure. I was like, wow, okay, this is serious stuff. Got to get involved in this. Were you buying before then or after then?
I bought, I have coins that I bought down to about $5,000, and then I bought some at about 20,000. I don't want to say how many, but I bought at those two price points.
Okay, well that's no. I mean, given where Bitcoin has come, that's not bad buying points at all. It's pretty damn good. Had I known where Bitcoin was going back in 2017, and I saw the price at 1,200, if I'd had a few spare grand, believe me, I would have grabbed me some Bitcoin, and I'd have a huge smile on my face. But there we go. Such is life. That's the way it goes. All right, cool. Before I move on, we better take a look at the Hive in a moment. But before I move on, question from the Hive. I think this is a serious question. What is the dodgy side to Bitcoin? Would you say so?
I guess all the crime that goes on with it being an unregulated market, but at the same time, that's its uncensorable ability showing off. If it wasn't so resilient in that case, criminals wouldn't use it. It's kind of like we were talking about on the previous show. What I think about like ETF managers buying into Bitcoin at BlackRock. They've done the research. So have criminals, and they use Bitcoin, and it works really well for them.
Yeah, the Hive. More crime money is filtered through HSBC banks, but I don't think. I think most of it isn't crypto, to be honest. This whole thing about crypto being, and don't forget, this is what the mass media and government and all the institutions did to begin with when Bitcoin was launched. It was all for, one of the scare stories was it's all about the criminals. It's a scam. It's pyramid stuff. Blah blah blah. It's all about criminals using funds for money laundering or whatever. However, these days, given it's just amazing to see the turnaround, to see all that institutional interest now endorsing it, now embracing it, now legitimizing crypto. But that the Hive, I think when you look at the whole banking sector, gosh, it's an extraordinarily depressing picture with all of the activities that go on there and all of the efforts they put into dissuading people, even now, from buying crypto. When I just to say I'm with HSBC, whenever I buy some crypto, they must have algorithms and bots and all sorts of things going on. Because whenever I make a purchase through HSBC, whenever I bring in some fiat to Coinbase, they send me this warning email straight after. Be careful of crypto scams, blah, 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 blah. Never, ever do they send me anything like that when it comes to fiat. But anyway, there we go. That's the way it is. Right. Okay. Before I move on to take a look at Hive, does anybody want to come in with anything at all about what Bitcoin's been up to during the past week? The Hive, are you coming on voice this week or not? No. Alrighty. No worries. Menno.
I wanted to say one thing regarding what you were saying about the banks and dealing with Bitcoin. Something I found interesting is if you open a business account, certain banks exclude you from working with Bitcoin. One of those banks is Bank of America. I personally had to switch banks for my business account because they said in their documentation if you deal with cryptocurrency, they can close your account.
Wow. I mean, there you go. You see, the banks are playing this game two ways. They want a slice of the pie. They obviously want all of the pie, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, but I think that's what they're doing. But at the same time of wanting a slice of the pie, they're trying to dissuade others from getting involved in crypto. And this is what really irks me, because when you take a look at what the banks are up to, they clearly aren't embracing crypto for their customers, are they?
No, I think that they see it as a risk, and they're just trying not to deal with anyone dealing with crypto. But they have no problem buying it for their ETFs and all that. But like you said, I don't think they want their banking customers dealing with such a risky asset and making them look bad for some reason.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm afraid this is the sinister part of it all, and it goes back to it goes back to what I believe is the long term strategy for banks, corporates. They do want control of the space, and I think that will at some stage play out in some way. I hope it doesn't. I hope I'm wrong, and I know you and I sort of diverge on this, but I do think that is part of their wider long term strategy. Right. Okay. Anyway, on that merry note, I'm going to move on to take a look at Hive and see what she's been up to. Let me just grab the chart. Sorry about that. Slight delay there. I thought I had the wrong chart up, but there it is. Excellent. Okay, fine. Good to see again a little bounce from Hive, which is nice to see. Up 3.92%, up 1 cent. But hey, at this stage of the game, every cent matters. So, I mean, look, I'll just for comparison's sake, take a look at this. It's once again an almost mirror of what Bitcoin's been up to. Just take a look at that side by side. Sideways, trading sideways, then nice vertical jump, and then trading, and then down a little bit, and then trading sideways. It's interesting. It's good to see it in that way, because we can see the parallels with Bitcoin. And I've said before, and I'll say it again, with tokens, with altcoins, it's kind of moving with Bitcoin. I would say that's generally positive. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I just see the upbit Korean pump in there. Anytime I see those big spikes like that, and you go into the market tab on Coin Market Cap, you usually see the KRW BTC pair is like 10x the volume of what all the other trading pairs are. So I'm afraid it was just another pump and dump we're seeing.
Aha, but just hang on a minute, because you're absolutely right to mention the Hive pump, and as I put in the show post, I'm going to be talking about that. But this is what I'm going to show. In fact, before I show the next chart, I do want to just talk about that for a moment, because I don't think it is just that. And I mean, it clearly played a part. There's no doubt about it. Upbit was the exchange where we see all this trading volume, and we see a little spike there. But that's come back down now. From it got to, I think, 28 cents during the peak of that pump. It's come back down now, and so I'm literally looking at if you compare those two charts there, you can see the similarity. So just take out the pump for a moment. I think it may go back down to 25. That's all you're seeing now. You're talking 1 cent, so not too much in it, really, is it?
No, it was a pretty small pump. I mean, you don't know how big these pump and dump groups are. My understanding is in South Korea, the laws allow them to have pump and dump groups. Here in America, that would be a financial crime. So they have different laws out there. It allows multiple millionaires to all buy a token at the same time and cause the coin to moon. And that's what we see. On the other side of it, they have people buying later that aren't paying as much in the pump and dump membership that can buy later at a slight drop in the price, and then they write it down to the bottom. So it's really interesting. There's a whole tiered system with these pump and dumps, and they're very illegal around where I live, and I want nothing to do with them.
See, this is interesting because these, as you say, pump and dump traders, the, how is that banned in the US? Because surely there's nothing stopping a group of people getting together and pumping a market. No?
That is the crime. You're conspiracy and financial fraud. Yeah, you're not supposed to like all get together in secret and say you're going to buy this and pump it. I think Martha Stewart or someone got in trouble for that. It's considered inside trading, and I think it's illegal.
No, I think inside trading might be something different, dude. I think generally speaking, if a group of people want to get together and go, let's just buy up a shit ton of stock, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing illegal about that, is there?
Well, my understanding is that the pump and dump groups are definitely not legal in America. Maybe they are in Britain, and they're definitely legal from what I've heard in South Korea, and that's how they can get away with such big volumes. Like these millionaires are all getting together and buying at once, and it's causing the price to spike.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's funny because a lot of people don't mind these pump and dumps that we've seen. Well, I must admit, we've seen quite a few of them in the past few months, haven't we? They've become quite a routine thing.
Hundreds. There's been over the time Hive's been around since the 2020s. There's been hundreds of them.
Oh, sure, no, absolutely, I know there has, but just lately we've seen them quite routinely.
Have a lunch break, so I can go down and do.
Mick Veer, would you mind just sorting your mic? Thank you. Sorry, we were just catching your personal conversation there. Okay, so yeah, just one other trend I noticed, and I've noticed this before. Now, it might be absolutely nothing, but I'm not so sure. And I'm just going to show you now by putting in the following chart. Just take a look at the price of, I'm going to say it, the price of Steam and the price of Hive. Just look at what they do when these pump and dumps happen. So there you go. Just go down to Hive. Steam is just directly beneath it. Just take a look at all the other alts there for a moment. Yeah, they're in the green a bit, so anywhere between 2 and 6%. Hive has jumped up to 22% because that's the peak of the pump. Steam also up 11%, not as much as Hive, clearly, but nonetheless, this always seems to happen. Are these teams working Steam as well, do you think?
There might be similar groups also doing the pump and dump for Steam. If they're on Upbit as well, there could be a coordinated buy of both coins, but it might just be a coincidence. I'm not sure.
I don't believe it is a coincidence anymore. I used to tell myself that to begin with, but for the past 5 pump and dumps in the past few months that we've seen with Hive, this has been the pattern with Steam as well. I reckon, you know, I possibly, don't know for sure, but clearly somebody or some people are working both markets simultaneously.
That's really interesting. In the future, I'm going to watch for that and see if I pick up on that pattern. I had no idea. So if that is the case, that's a really interesting find.
Yeah, and I've asked around and I can't really find an adequate explanation, but there is definitely a parallel. It's just too much to be a coincidence 5 times now. So no, I think there is a trend emerging there. Okay, all right. Just generally speaking, Solo, what are your thoughts on what Hive's been up to during the past week?
As in price, or what do you mean?
Yes, sorry, price performance.
Well, like we saw, I saw the pump and dump occur, and anytime that happens, it's just part of repeated history when it comes to Hive. So nothing really special this week is really going on. If we see Bitcoin move up quite a bit, I think we're going to start seeing alt season coming back, and that's going to affect all altcoins, which is Ethereum, and it's going to affect Hive as well. So we just kind of got to wait for alt season. Otherwise, I think it's going to be pretty sideways. We're going to have these occasional pumps like this just being done by the usual suspects.
Okay, so I'm glad you mentioned alt season. And I think you're right, by the way, what you just said. But I'm glad you mentioned that because I do just want to touch on that. I was going to do some real extensive research with graphs and stuff, but I've done enough graphs for now. So I just want to mention roughly what happened 2016. So we have the halving in 2016, late 2017, and then correction, let's go back to 2016. Round about the US presidential election time, we see Hive, beg your pardon, we see Bitcoin making a nice vertical climb. It reaches a new all-time high, and then it drops back again. And then the real bull run, the real bull market, happens almost a year later, towards the end of 2017. Okay. Now, parallel that with what happened last time, 2020, 2021. 2020, once again, around about the US presidential election, we saw Bitcoin pump, reaches new all-time highs, and then goes into a sustained period of rallying, basically, all the way through. And then springtime, it comes back again, it drops down. This is the difference we're seeing this time. Because go back now to the last US presidential election, 2024, we saw Bitcoin pump again. We saw it, a sustained rally, which was great. We all thought it was going to carry on into 2025. Sadly, it hasn't. It's kind of lost some steam a bit, and it's settled back down again to 80. We're seeing a different pattern this time. But as Edicted quite rightly pointed out, he quite rightly said, look, back in 2020, you had the pandemic, and that is why that maybe explained that he was trying to say. But 2017, and I'm looking at the 4-year cycle, so I'm paralleling 2017 with 2025. It may well be, just as it did in 2017, that the real bull run, the real altcoin season isn't until the end of this year. That's not out of the realms of possibility, is it?
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility at all. I think up and through till about October, I think we can see some really big upswings. You got to basically count how many days it's been since the last halving to basically look at repeat history of where Bitcoin's going with these cycles. And once we get up into October, we're getting to that point where it's usually rallied pretty hard since then.
Awesome. What I just found interesting was that compare 2017 with 2021 and the cycles and now 2025, and there is a difference. We are seeing a difference for sure. I don't know if you've done much. If I could get a graph and show you directly, you'd see exactly what I mean. But I just hope that 2025, that the bull. I mean, so I see some people like talking in Discord saying, you know, the bull market's been cancelled, alt season's been cancelled, blah blah blah. I don't think it has been cancelled at all. I think it's been delayed maybe. But don't forget, in 2017, as I say, the real bull run wasn't until towards the end of 2017. So I'm not despondent at this stage at all, and I don't think anybody else should be, to be honest. It's a roller coaster, and that's just the way it is. Right, I think we've spoken enough. We're sort of halfway through the show. I'm going to now hand over to you, Solo, because you've got some interesting stuff to talk about regarding Hive. Go for it.
I do. Today, I want to talk about curation groups on Hive. There are a bunch of groups that have been around since the Steam days. Some of them used to be bid bots back when that was an acceptable practice. You used to be able to send these people money or Hive or well, it wouldn't be Hive, it would be Steam or SPD back then. And you could get upvotes on your posts. Well, that's no longer allowed on Hive. And now many of these groups have transferred over to doing what we call curation, which they have people that are using their posting keys and they're finding posts and upvoting them. There could be one person doing curation, there could be 10, there could be 100. It varies per project. But I have about 9 different curation groups today. I don't know if we have time to go over them all, but I just started with the most notable ones, and I kind of want to go down the list and talk about each of them. So I'm going to drop one in the chat here. Give me a moment.
Okay. This is potentially a controversial area, but I'm looking forward to this.
Yes, well, now these are all legitimate groups now. They have done a lot of work to work with the community, and they're very well accepted. I'm sure you'll notice this name right here, that OCDB, ran by Acidio. So this is probably the most well known right here, and they have about 7 million HP for being used on upvotes, which that's a lot. I mean, 7 million. That's quite a bit. But they also run other types of curation groups like Hive Gaming and the HoloZing curation group. So another interesting thing that they do on the side is some of these groups we'll see run side projects as well. I'm going to drop the next one here in chat.
Do you want to know a bit more about HoloZing when you've got a moment? But I'll let you carry on.
Well, if we thought OCDB was big, Appreciator has 11 million HP. So they might be one of the biggest curation groups out there. They are one of those accounts that used to have a different history back on Steam, but they have changed, and now you'll commonly find them bringing posts into trending. And no one really knows who their curators are. I think they're kept secret, as far as I know. Other curation groups, people are very public about who they curate for. And eventually I'm going to get to one of the groups that I curate for, and I'm going to point that out. But that's another one there. Did you want to say something real quick, Piece of Money?
Yeah, just go. I mean, while we're on Acidia, I think HoloZing, this thing about HoloZing, I keep seeing it around. Has that developed any more since last time we spoke about this? Is HoloZing, isn't that a game or something though?
Yeah, it's a game, but there's a big art community that does drawings of the HoloZing monsters and the trainers. So a lot of times, really skilled artists will do concept artwork and get upvotes through the HoloZing curation system.
Okay, but that's nothing to do with any curation effort.
It's not for the game specifically because the game functions are not running yet, but they're definitely curating HoloZing content right now.
Okay.
And there's a few more I'm going to go over that are also specific to their communities as we get further down the list.
Just ask you a question about Appreciator at the minute. Sorry, who is the main backer of that one?
I do not know. Appreciator is one of those little more secret out there. I don't really hear anything about who they are. So that's a good question.
Mena says Appreciator is backed by Freedom. Now he was or is a huge whale, is that right? On back in the day?
Yeah, he's probably in the top 5.
Right. Okay. So it looks like that's backed by Freedom, who certainly is a kind of behind the scenes type of person. But in terms of what content that Appreciator upvotes, is there any sort of trends or patterns that emerge? How would one get a vote from Appreciator?
That's a good question. I think networking, just going on Discords and talking to people and treating everyone nice and respectfully. You never know who's a curator behind the username you're talking with on Discord or leaving a comment on a Hive post. And I think if you do it enough, those curators will notice you and they'll follow you and start curating your content. So it's all about networking. There's no like list you can apply to be curated, but you can make friends with people and they may just have their little secret that they reward you with.
Okay, that's often a nice surprise with Hive, isn't it? So get networking, I guess, and you never know, you might find Appreciator voting on your posts.
Exactly. So I got another curation group to drop into chat whenever you're ready.
Yeah, go for it. Carry on, son.
We have a curation group here ran by Zeracon, and this one has about 2.4 million HP. One of the interesting things about CureAngel is it's mostly backed based on delegation, very similar to OCDB, where many Hive users can park their HP when they're not using it and get rewards for it. And basically, when you delegate to CureAngel or OCDB or many of these others, They send you either a daily reward or a weekly reward based on how much stake that you delegated to them. And okay, I guess it wasn't the Zircon, but Farsum. So good to know. But it's one of those groups where you can definitely delegate and get a reward back for it.
Okay. So you need to pause here because this whole thing about delegation for votes has often been a kind of contentious issue because it seems to have replaced BidBots. Some people think it's more or less the same, but I would kind of draw a distinction, wouldn't you?
Well, it's definitely not like the BidBots anymore where you can pay for it. You have to get noticed. And I think that's a better system. It encourages people to leave comments and you never know who's a curator.
Well, no. Well, okay. It depends on what the initiative you're talking about, but some delegation initiatives guarantee you automatic votes purely for delegations. Yeah.
I'm not sure which ones those are anymore. Like OCDB doesn't promise that. They say they take into consideration that you're delegating, but it's not a guaranteed thing. I'm not really sure which ones do that now.
No, the ones you've highlighted don't do that, but there are some out there that do that. I use, what is it? Ed's Vote. That's one that does that.
Yeah, I've heard about it, and I think that's kind of a gray area right now for Hive. But I'm mostly discussing the ones that are just actively curating and not running a membership service for upvotes.
Yeah, that's kind of the way they do it. Basically, it's a kind of a membership thing. I know you can do it with some of the bro tokens from the bro community. So they are around. I don't know what people's thoughts are on the way they operate. I think for me, it's close to a kind of BidBot thing, a mechanism, really, in many ways. But like you say, a bit of a grey area. Anybody got any thoughts on that at all? The Hive, can you jump on voice at all? Snook, are you still there or are you not there?
I can.
The Hive. May I just go to the Hive? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just typing that out, and it's specifically about the curation trail. Now, I'm not against them because I think they're a great thing, and one of the better ways that people can have something to their account that looks like, damn, yeah, account is grown. So I think they're very positive. But they just say like Core Angel, they might follow, say, 20 different tags and choose different times allocate source tags, and people go monitor those tags and vote on. I'm not sure why they exactly how they all work. So yeah, and the one goes and does the games make a post, they vote game or game. That's all good. But within that, I think the people who run these different tags. So if I run, say, like the Hive Gaming tag, I should be going out there and finding content that is related to anything that under Hive Gaming and say, hey, listen, you really this tag in your post, so we notice your post, get to it and give it a vote content. But there's not people out there going out that run these groups trying to find them people that create good content. So them people that are actually doing that outside of these borders, but they're not hitting the right tags and stuff, they fall through the filters and they end up not back where the really damn people, if those running tags went out and found them and brought them in to their group.
Okay, so they're being lazy, but I guess they're still getting the curation rewards, though, aren't they? And that's probably why they're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, but people aren't. So their tag is on the things when they write about posts about the things they do, they're getting a vote as well. But they're not going out there doing the job they should be doing. They're kind of like a mini front end. It's finding all the good content that can be in there. Instead of the shite that people like me write, that and I just use that tag because it'll know it might get me a vote. See what I mean?
But isn't there less of those tags? that you that are like there was that one that was like CCC or something like that, and you would get a vote, and those are going away.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
tag
remember.
votes a different thing altogether. But again, it's because there's so many different ways you can attract a vote to your post. I mean, I think tags are perfectly legitimate. Solo, what were you going to say?
I just saying I remember the CCC tags and like Nexion and there's probably 10 or 20 tags that were
Yeah,
used to basically encourage some whales or some other group with a lot of delegation to notice you.
yeah, and those are getting less and less. Well, there's less people though too. But with also the people that were using them and not knowing why they were using them weren't getting the votes anyway, because most of those tags that went at the bottom of the post, there was a reason, i- there was a criteria of how you should or why you could use that and get a vote from it. Am
Yes,
I making
yeah.
sense?
There were conditions before you got the vote. Yeah,
Yeah. But then everybody would look at everybody else's tags and go, well, and then just, oh, well, they used these tags and got a vote. So then they just mass started tagging,
yeah.
which
Okay.
is
Well,
why there's less of those kind of tags now because people abused it.
yeah, as you would expect, I'm afraid, such is the nature of human beings. But I mean, even when I started on Hive back in September, people was telling me, "Look, you're new here. You can use the OCD tag or the Curie tags." Again, I don't know if they're still in operation for as in tags for attracting votes. Does that still work or not?
Fury is around, but their vote, which used to be worth like what, $400, is now worth, I think, $150.
Yeah, okay. Ecosys tags are out for votes. Lots of tokens there. Well, yes, there are lots of tokens around, indeed. Okay. All right, Solo. Thank you for that, Snook. Thank you for that, the Hive. Solo, carry on.
Okay, so I just have one or two more I want to drop, and then we can wrap up the show, and we have our big news to give. So I want to discuss another group called the Minnow Support Group, and this is a group I'm a curator for myself. I'm going to drop it in the chat here.
Is that the original one? The Minnow Support?
Yeah, it's the group Palnet. They've been around for a very long time.
Yeah, I didn't.
Their curation group does only for up to minnows. So if you're a dolphin or above, they're not supposed to upvote your posts. So it's a really interesting concept where they're only looking for smaller stake users and helping them out. They do only have 180,000 HP at this point, but in the past they've had upwards of 200,000 or above. But they're not as big as they used to be.
Yeah, I
So,
didn't even know they were around anymore.
Well, their curation, I can still upvote using their curation, but
Oh,
there's no
okay.
more shows on there, and you don't really see much Discord activity. But the curators are still active and using that 180,000 HP to upvote minnows and such.
hey, Solo, I wish you told me about these guys before.
Yeah, they've been crucial. As I used to be a weekly curator where I would look for posts every week and I'd list them in my weekly picks. And I did that for a few years, and I just decided to stop doing it as I wanted time for my homesteading content. But I used to do a whole weekly picks post all about who I picked for curation there.
Well, I'm nowhere near dolphin status, so I'm still a minnow. How does one get a vote or get their attention? Do you have to interact? Do you have to engage, or is it a tag? What is it?
It would basically be on the curator's preference. So if they find your post interesting, they'll drop it in there. As for me dropping votes on other people, I rarely use it. I'm usually not in the time frame that I have to drop links in there. So I usually just upvote and I move on. So I'm not the best curator for Minnow support, but I do have the ability to upvote using that service.
Alrighty, because I mean, I came to Hive, I'd say about 6 months ago. I'm still a minnow. I've been posting, as you know, very frequently, about 6 days a week. I always take one day off, maybe 2 days off a week. So 5 or 6 posts a week. I've never once seen them on my post. Are they still definitely going? Yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't think I've dropped an MSP upvote on anyone in a few months now. I haven't really been using that service, even though I have access to it. I haven't been using it to my full benefit and other people's benefits.
Alrighty.
Well, it's just like anything though. Just because you put the tag on your post doesn't mean that you're going to get the vote. And all the and that went with all the other tags too. I mean, there was the criteria of this fits into this category of this tag, so I can tag it. But that doesn't mean that we're going to get the in Leo vote or whatever, pick a tag,
Yeah,
'Cause
and
not
there's
every
also like post promotion as well. People watch that too.
right.
I don't know who watches post promotion. I don't go through there to look through posts, but I guess they assume people do. Like even Cure Angel, they have a Discord group, and they have post promotion drops, and so do some of these other groups too. They post promotion, but I don't use them anymore, and I don't really watch them either.
So Solo, you're a checking your wallet. You've got a huge stake. You're clearly dolphin. Where is the whale status threshold then? Because you can't be far off it, or you might already be a whale, no?
Oh yeah, I'm already a whale. A 500,000 is a whale.
So what is for you personally? What's the criteria for you that you like to see when you're out and about voting on people? What's your curating approach?
I'm very much stake based. So if I see someone else with a high stake, I'm more likely to give them a big upvote. And that's mostly because I see them taking a risk out there by staking Hive. They could have been just holding Bitcoin or holding US dollars or some stock, but they picked Hive. So I go out there and I'll definitely give them a big upvote to say thank you. And that's kind of been my system for a long time.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So you basically whales supporting whales, yeah.
That's one way to look at it, but I just see other stakeholders taking big risks, and I just wanted to say thank you.
Okay, fair enough. But also in between, I think it's important to say in between you do give out votes to minnows because you support a lot of my posts, don't you? And I don't have a huge stake, although I'm trying to build it, as you know.
Exactly. Yeah, I give out like 5% upvotes to most posts. That's usually my minimum threshold is about a 5% upvote. That's worth about 30 cents, and it usually puts my upvote up in the top 5 or 10 for most people, and I think that's pretty good. I'm not trying to be everyone's top upvoter.
You don't want to be appreciated or appreciate or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not trying to like draw too many people like that. I'm already overwhelmed in my comments, and I don't need to bring more people to my attention. So I just try to give people like their
Can I just say on that point, you Solo is one of the few Hivians who seems to respond to every single comment he gets on his posts. Bless him. He does put in the effort with his comments. I'll give him that, and he does get a shit ton of comments on his posts, don't you?
It can take over an hour sometimes. I will sit there and my fingers are hurting, and I get through those comments, but it takes like an hour.
Now that's called a dedicated, committed Hivian. I do appreciate that, and I'm sure everybody else does. So.
Yeah, I don't want to show like I'm phoning it in. I want to show that these posts are really meaningful, and when people leave me a comment, they took the time to do that. Like I want to give them something back.
Fair enough. Okay, carry on. Any more curation projects?
Yeah, I do. So I'm going to drop a couple that are specific to dApps now. So you'd have to be using one of their dApps to probably get an upvote.
Oh, this is interesting.
So we have 3Speak here, and this group has about 500,000 HP. So it's not a lot, but it's not a little by any means. Basically, if you're posting on the 3Speak network, posting videos, there's a chance that this person or this account will come by and upvote you.
Okay, so hang on, 3Speak. We all know 3Speak. Are you saying you've got to use a specific DAP? You can't just simply go to their user tag or anything.
I believe you would have to upload a video using their service and list them as a beneficiary before you would get any chance on getting their upvote. So,
Oh, okay, yeah. Got it.
yep. So that's one of those kind of catches. There are groups where they require beneficiary amounts. There has been some outrageous amounts that have been asked for in the past, but those communities are no longer around. But that is one way that they do it is if you put a beneficiary amount in there, you have a better chance of being upvoted.
Okay.
So I got another one to drop in here. I got Steam Monsters. People probably know this. So basically, if you're posting like Steam Monsters content, there's a good chance this account with 1 million HP will come by and upvote your post. So it can just be like your battles for the day, or it could be video, or it could be artwork that you make for Steam Monsters content. And they're one of those groups out there where they're watching their own communities, and they're leaving big ol' upvotes that I think keep attracting people back to them.
Okay. Interesting.
I got one more to share for the day. This is Splinter Boost. So this is like a third party. I don't think they're affiliated with Steam Monsters. They're just a fan of the group. And they have about 88,000 HP. So on the smaller side, definitely compared to all the other groups that we've seen today. But they also look for Splinterlands related content, and they will upvote them. They're called Splinter Boost.
Splinter Boost. Okay. Well, if you're into Splinterlands, I suggest you seriously check that one out. Awesome. Okay. Sorry.
Splinterlands and Steam Monsters are the same thing.
Yeah, it's just the old name is Steam Monsters, and I guess they never moved their stake over to the Splinterlands account for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you for that.
That,
So, oh, sorry.
that is
Go on.
my that is my showcase of curation groups for today. Back to you.
Good job.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Good job. Thank you for that. Good to know what's out there. It's good to know who is out there rewarding people's efforts, because sometimes you feel like you're posting into the abyss and no one's really actually out there, and you don't know what's going to happen, and are people really out there curating? And they are. It's good to see these groups for sure. Thank you for that, Solo. I'm just going to touch on something. I'm glad Friendly Moose put his comment, put his a link to one of his posts there, because I had a chat with him earlier in the week on Chain, and I didn't know much about. I've seen him around. I think it's a he. Sorry if you're a she. But I've seen him or her around doing some good things, similar to my favorite Comment Friday initiative that I started a few months ago. Basically, Friendly Moose runs the. I'll put the link back in the chat. Hang on. He runs Top Comment, the Top Comment project. Some of you probably must have received a vote from Top Comment. I have, and they're out there. They're out there trying to upvote meaningful comments or constructive comments or powerful comments, whatever comments that have value, I guess. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do with my favorite Comment Friday initiative. So. But with Top Comment, you've got someone with a bit more stake backing that project. So you get a nice, I think it's around a 20-cent vote or something. I can't remember what it is, but he's doing some good things there. It's such a shame he can't quickly come on voice. But he is in the chat. I do hope, yes, he must be able to hear me. Friendly Moose, are you able to type anything? Can you just shed a bit of light on what this is, maybe in a paragraph? Because we're going to have to wrap up soon. And we've got to get one more very important thing in. But Friendly Moose, are you able to come on voice? Can we not hear your beautiful voice?
I think he said he didn't have a microphone.
Yeah, that old chestnut.
It's the oldest trick in the book. I don't have a mic. I would show, but I don't have a mic. But listen, I do want to say something really quick about this because I didn't know it was Friendly Moose running it, but I think it's an awesome initiative because and I've said it before. I've been saying it for 8 years now. In order for this place to do better, the thing that has to change more than the algorithms is the culture, and that kind of initiative. That's exactly what it's doing because it's incentivizing people to connect meaningfully. So that's why I like that project. It's not about ROI. It's not like I'm thinking, oh, this is delegate over here so you can make a lot of hive. That's counting pennies and forgetting about the dollars. So I think if you guys can support, it doesn't have to be top comment. It doesn't have to be Friendly Moose, but that kind of initiatives, the ones that are incentivizing the right behaviors, you should. If you care about this blockchain, then I think you should. That's it. I said my
Absolutely.
piece.
Absolutely. I just want to say a minute, Snoop. Sorry, just on that note, Menno, and this is exactly why a few months ago I started my favorite Comment Friday initiative, and I was trying to get other people to do it as well, where you just basically you publish a post just to show appreciation purely for somebody else's comment that you've come across during the week, because there are some really powerful, amazing posts on Hive, but some of the comments I think can be just as, if not more powerful sometimes. So that's why I started my favorite Comment Friday initiative, just to shine a spotlight on a comment that has either inspired me or has educated me somehow or empowered me even, and it's a really nice thing to do, just to show some appreciation, and I always include them as a beneficiary. Whoever published the comment, I always include them as a beneficiary of the post, just to give them a little something to thank them for that comment. And do you know what, I just want to say one more thing on Top Comment, because I've been to Top Comment's profile page, and it started just Top Comment started either a week before I launched my favorite Comment Friday project, or a week after. I'd like to think it's a week after and that I inspired Top Comment, but probably not. But anyway, it's great that we do have like-minded people in the community, because it's just a bit of appreciation for comments, and as I say, comments can be really powerful. Snook, sorry, do you want to just quickly say something? We're going to then have to hand back to Solo because he's going to have to make a move in a moment.
Yeah, there used to be a guy, I think he was a witness, I'm not sure though, that kept a tally and then made it into a game about how top commenter of the week. And it was actually kind of fun. And you would go just to follow the story down somebody's post in the comments. In the comment, yeah, ABH. 1, 2, yeah, that guy. And that was actually pretty cool.
What did he used to do, Snoop?
It was set in a game format, but it was the first person. He would rank how many comments people made, and whoever was the top commenter, or I don't know, first 5 got a prize or something. And engagement league, yeah. And then so it really got a lot of people out and about and finding good posts to comment on. And then you'd have and then other people that were in the group would find where somebody made a comment, and then there was whole discussions underneath posts.
Oh, that sounds like a great initiative.
It was really cool.
Awesome. Okay, right. I'm gonna have to wrap up this chat. We're almost out of time. Our hour is almost up, but of course we've got one very important thing to announce. So I'm just going to hand over to Solo.
Great. Well, I wanted to discuss the 10,000 HP delegation that Piece of Money and I decide every month on. Last month, Aloha Ed was the winner of that delegation, and we love his smooth voice and his insightful comments and just the personality he brings to the show. So we had to find someone else for this month that also brings some great personality, and he always makes us laugh, and he's been around for a long time, and you can tell in the comments when he leaves something that there's a veteran there. And that person is Menno. Menno, you got the 10,000 HP delegation for the next month, and thank you so much for all your great comments and making me laugh my ass off.
He is a funny guy on top of everything else, isn't he?
He sure is. He's funny, and you can tell like when he talks about Hive and Steam and stuff like that. He's been around for a long time, and he's a really resourceful and knowledgeable guy.
Absolutely, absolutely. You guys should really check out his blog. Some of the things he discusses it's fantastic, and you'll learn a hell of a lot of stuff. And the way he is with words, man, I hope he's published. He should be.
Yeah, I enjoy listening to him talk on voice. He's definitely someone that makes me feel better about many tense situations. He brings a lot of calm to them, and he's very mindful of many things that are going on. And I think he helps to bridge many gaps.
And when he talks, and I've said to you before, Solo, we've got to get him on as a co-host one show, because there's something about his vocal performance, isn't there? He's got some gift of the gab.
He does, definitely. If I ever call in sick, I think you know who you should check in with.
Absolutely, straight to Menno. So Menno, you've got conditions attached to that 10k HP delegation, I'm afraid.
He's going to have to use his downvote bot and add that to his HP now. He's going to be on quite the list.
Isn't he just awesome? But hey, Menno, you do deserve that 10,000 HP delegation, so congratulations, and I hope you enjoy it. Use it wisely.
Yes, congratulations.
Right, people, our hour is up, and just want to say thank you to everybody who's turned up. Another lively show. Good to see Asidio. Hello. Hope you sorted things out. You were jumping in and out there. I didn't know what you were doing. It's like you were dancing, but nice to see you coming. Thanks for coming in. Good to see everybody else as well. It's been a great show. Covered some ground again, I think, and that's what we're trying to do with this show. We're talking crypto related matters, and we're trying to explore these issues and just sort of dig a little bit deeper. And of course we're talking Hive as well, of course we are. And it's been another great show, so thank you to everybody who's turned up. Thank you to my co-host Solo Miner, who's doing a great job, who stepped in a few weeks back quite unexpectedly. I asked him and he said yes. I still can't believe he said yes, but thank you so much for that, Solo. You're doing a great job, really appreciate it. Thanks for what you did in the show earlier with these curation projects you discussed. Quite an eye-opener, so appreciate that very much. Anything else you want to say, Solo, before we wrap up?
Oh, it's been another great week talking about Hive. I have many great topics I hope to make lists of and bring them to the future shows. So I'm really excited to talk about Hive even more.
Awesome. Yeah, sorry, Joe, you've only just got here, but we are wrapping up. It's 8 till 9 p.m. UTC. But yes, okay, there we go. Thank you for that. So
Hey, what's going on, guys? Yeah, I just got in because I chose to go out and eat before, so that ate up the hour. But yeah,
no worries, Jay-Z. Look, we're going to move into the after show anyway, so I'll be hanging around for a little bit. I'm going to be doing my dinner in the background, but I will be listening. Solo's got to make a move because he's got stuff to do. But thank you again to everybody who's turned up. Great show. Thank you again, Solo, and look forward to seeing you guys again next week. And until then, take care.